Hi, it's Lindsay at Applied Mortgage. I am here today with Becky from Coldwell Banker, and Becky's going to let us know a little bit about the work that she does representing the seller as a listing agent. So Becky, can you just kind of fill me in? What does that first conversation look like? If somebody wants to sell their house and they're reaching out to you for a listing appointment, what are you going over during that appointment?
So the first visit with a client who's thinking about listing their home is typically a lot of questions, and maybe surprisingly to some, the questions are mostly coming from me, because in order to do a good job for my client, I need to know so much information about what has led them to the point where they are reaching out and they're ready to list their home. So that first visit is really all about me learning what a client's motivation and goals are in getting their home sold.
Right, so do they want to move to a new house, what their timeline is? Is that the type of kind of goals that you're talking about?
Yeah, so some of the things that they might be thinking about are downsizing. If their home is too large. They might have gotten a new job and they're starting really soon, so their goal could be moving as quickly as possible.
Right.
Their financial situation has possibly changed, and so a goal could be selling their home for the highest possible price point, and the amount of time isn't as important. So asking lots and lots and lots of questions to really nail down what it is that they need, because that informs the strategy that I'm going to recommend moving forward.
Right, because their house probably fits into the rest of their life goals in a very important way. So that's kind of the foundation of how you're going to list the house, how you're going to market it.
Absolutely.
And all of that.
Yes.
When I talk to people sometimes who are getting pre-approved and they need to sell their house in order to buy a new one, sometimes they're really concerned about fixing up their house and getting it ready to be listed. So, and I know there's probably a fine balance between doing too much work and not enough work, but what do you kind of advise some of your clients on?
That is an excellent question. And actually, it is such a broad question that it's really hard to answer, because each property and each client is so unique that the answer really depends on what their goals are, what the market looks like at the time that they're listing, the condition of their home. There's a lot that goes into that. So part of my job is, again, to find out, what's your bandwidth for projects, or what financial means do you have for projects, and is a certain project even going to increase the value of your home? So selling a home is it's a lot of effort. It's a full-time job. Make it a full-time job for myself. So it's important for me to try and help a client pare down on all of the tasks and projects that they need to do. So if it's not worth your time and energy, I'm going to tell you, don't do it. But if it's going to increase the appeal of your home, or get more buyers in there, or earn you a higher dollar for your home, then we'll talk about ways that you can get that done.
Okay, great. And you mentioned, being there full-time for the seller. So can you, and this is a very long list, I'm sure, but what are some of the main roles that a listing agent has throughout the process of selling a home?
I think my number one job as a list agent is building confidence, which is maybe not your typical answer, but I think it's so critical for a client to feel confident in the decisions that they're making during this whole process. For a lot of people, their home is the largest investment that they're ever going to make. And so it's important to me that somebody feels good, because a lot of the time, sometimes selling your home is a great thing, and sometimes it's a very emotional thing. And I can't control those things, but I can help you feel well informed. So my number one role is to build someone's confidence, and I think the best way to do that is to educate them on how the whole process works. So I have a lot of tools that I use. I have, for myself, like spreadsheets on spreadsheets for like keeping track of everything. But I do that on my end so that I can just present as a package to my client, here are the things that you need to do. And then to also give them like a roadmap from point A to point Z, because there are so many points, it's not just A to B. And then also to be a resource every step of that way. So, okay, we're here at step 1. This is how we're going to go through it. This is everything that you can expect. These are some of the questions you might have. These are some of the things that might come up. This is how we can handle it when it happens.
Great. And that's all the way from the initial meeting, figuring out the price point for the property, and then hosting open houses, right? What do you do as far as like your kind of marketing strategy with actual, you mentioned some tools that you use, so I would imagine technology has changed that a lot too. So what does a listing strategy actually kind of look like, without giving any secrets away, of course?
Listing strategy, I know we only have a couple minutes in this video. That is something you could really talk a lot about, and I spend a lot of time with my clients making sure they understand what it is that we're doing. So once we're clear on what the goals are, that's one step, because that's going to inform how you market something, and the open houses that you do, and the materials that you send out, and the people that you call, and all of those things. So you get clear on that, and then a really, really, really important piece of it is doing a CMA, or a comparative market analysis, and that is something that I personally put a lot of time and effort into. It's an objective marketing tool that gives a probable list and or sell price of a home based on current market activity.
Okay.
And so that current piece is really important, because if you're listing your home right now, the homes around you that are selling, that might all look different than 6 months from now. The market could completely change. That also gives me an idea about what types of projects you might need to do. So I'm going to look at other homes and say, well, this home sold for this much. Not all homes that are similar to your home. And we'll say, well, this one sold for this much, and this is the condition and the age and the size and the bedrooms and the bathrooms and the improvements. Here's your house and how it compares. Let's go through the list of things that you've done, the size, the bedrooms, the garages, the property that it sits on, all of that, and come up with a range of where your home is likely to sell based on all of these things, and then from there decide, based on how much time you have, what the current absorption rates are, meaning how long is it taking for homes like yours to sell. All of those things get bundled in. You come up with a list price, and that is often that's a conversation. That's something that I like to come up with the client. And then for marketing, Coldwell Banker we have our own marketing department. So that marketing department does their own advertising, and we have this proprietary software that's amazing that can see where clients are searching. So like what zip code people are looking from to move to this area, and then we can send them advertisements directly for open houses or price changes. So that's one thing that Coldwell Banker has that really helps get people's homes in front of buyers who are looking. We do open houses, we do flyers, we'll do email blasts, we do Facebook ads. I mean, there's really no stone left unturned when it comes to the marketing.
That's great. I really love in everything that you're describing how you're bringing it back to the client's goals and making sure that your whole strategy is shaped around what the seller actually wants to get out of the sale. So that's really important. Well, thank you very much for going into such detail about listing your home and all the many reasons that you should use a listing agent like Becky. Thanks everyone for listening.